It's on!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Supreme TV. The Supreme Wrestling Federation is proud to be in the Isaac Road Arena in front of 10,800 fans. We got a great show for you folks. All our Supreme stars are in action before our big matches at Awesome Impact. Remo takes on Primus Allen in his last challenge to earn a shot at fighting Jack Bruce. We have the semi-finals of the Canadian title tournament happening tonight. Unleashed Awesomeness takes on their rivals Faith and Old Glory and Mikey Lau. And a big 4 versus 4 tornado tag team match is our main event. Let's take it to the ring for our first match of the night. We see our entrances for our opening match, Remo versus Primus Allen. Jack Bruce has selected Primus Allen to battle Remo, and if Remo wins, he gets a match with Jack Bruce. Before Shane Stones can ring the bell, Remo asks for a microphone. He tells Jack Bruce he's going to win this match, so he wants to make the match they'll have at Awesome Impact a lot more interesting. Remo says this match is more than just a grudge match and there should be an additional stipulation. Jack Bruce interrupts and says if Remo wins tonight's match, Jack Bruce wants Remo to promise that if he loses, he will never challenge for the SWF World Heavyweight title again. Remo smiles and says he agrees, but only if Jack Bruce promises to retire from in-ring action if he wins. Jack Bruce has to think about it, but he agrees to a handshake deal. Bruce and Remo seem to be in agreement. Remo's ability to challenge for the SWF World title versus Jack Bruce's in-ring career. But first, Remo has to win tonight's match. Remo hits Primus Allen with the microphone. Remo and Allen brawl as Shane Stones calls for the bell. Remo beats on Primus Allen with the microphone and stomps him in the corner as Shane Stones calls for the bell. Jack Bruce was about to intervene, but Stones stops him because the match has started. Phil Vibert praises Remo's strategy as Remo gets more time to abuse Allen in the corner. Shane Stones gets a break and Allen is able to get to his feet and square up with Remo. Allen and Remo stumble and fumble around each other as Dwayne Fry comments that Allen is coming back from a rib injury and Remo is going right after it to take the advantage. Primus Allen gets a surge of energy and pushes Remo to the outside, both of them spilling through the ropes and just kind of pushing on each other. Anna Garcia cheers on Allen's comeback, but Remo is able to take control again. Remo focuses on the ribs, lifting Allen up and dropping him across the guardrail. Shane Stones threatens a DQ, so Remo rolls Allen back inside and has plenty of time to climb in too. Remo has Allen right where he wants him. He drives a fist into the rib cage with a lumbar puncture and lifts Allen for the destroyer. That's a 3 count and a win. Remo has won, and he'll be facing Jack Bruce at Awesome Impact, where it'll be future title contention versus career. Rocky Golden, Valiant, and Des Davids are all backstage to discuss their match tonight and their ongoing feuds. We also see Hollywood Bret Starr and Rogue discuss how unfair it is to have their upcoming matches at Awesome Impact and how they're ready to help each other make sure tonight's 4x4 tag match gives them an advantage at the pay-per-view. We're ready for our next match, and the trio of Unleashed Awesomeness makes their entrance to the ring first. Next up, we have Faith and Old Glory coming out, followed right behind by Mikey Lau, their partner for this match. Both teams are in the ring. Looks like Mikey Lau is going to start things off with Randy Unleashed, and the bell rings, causing Randy Unleashed to just start showing off, and Lau is not having any of it. Mikey Unleashed is all business, and he goes after Randy Unleashed. They lock up, and Lau is able to connect with a spinning sidekick that sends Randy into his corner. Cannonball tags himself in as Faith asks for a tag. Cannonball attempts a series of strikes, but Maddie Faith absorbs them all and tosses Cannonball around the ring. Anna Garcia comments that Faith's 6'6" frame is an absolute wall, but Phil Vibert notes that the Awesomeness are the current World Tag Team Champions. Cannonball is able to make a tag, and both Stardust and Randy Unleashed enter the ring, with the trio of Unleashed Awesomeness taking control against Faith. Stardust stays in control with some flashy offense, kicks, a moonsault, and a flying elbow. Stardust hits the ropes, and Faith is able to get a big boot up and make a tag to Mass Patriot. That brings in Randy Unleashed and Cannonball, and Lau enters the ring too. All 6 men battle in the ring, with Unleashed Awesomeness knocking all of their opponents out. Cannonball, Stardust, and Randy Unleashed hit the ropes and dive to the outside. Slowly all 6 men get to their feet and they start brawling around the ringside area as Shane Stones tries to get back in control. With no tags made, these 6 Supreme Stars square off in the ring, with Jefferson Stardust against Mikey Lau, Randy Unleashed against Maddie Faith, and then Mass Patriot against Huey Cannonball. Dwayne Fry explains that Patriot and Stardust should be the legal men. Stardust helps his tag partner to double team Patriot, and he's able to tag in Maddie Faith. Randy Unleashed blocks Lau from entering the ring and pushes him to the outside. Then Unleashed Awesomeness take on Faith with another triple team attack. Faith uses his size and strength advantage to fight off Unleashed Awesomeness and tag in Mikey Lau. Lau knocks Cannonball out of the ring and Stardust tags in Randy Unleashed. Lau and Randy Unleashed trade combos and neither gets a clear advantage. On the outside, Faith and Old Glory are battling the Awesomeness. It's absolute chaos on the floor. Randy Unleashed looks to be in control. He whips Mikey Lau into the ropes, but Mikey Lau reverses it. He hits a scything sidekick, and Randy is down. That's a 3 count. And Mikey Lau gets a pinfall victory for his team. A promo video from Robbie Wright is played, and Wright trash talks Oliver Cobb and calls him a coward for attacking him when he wasn't looking. Joanne Rodriguez is standing by with Cobb for an interview about what we just saw. Cobb isn't intimidated by that goofball, and he knows that they will eventually meet each other in the ring and settle this feud. Our next match is a semi-final match for the CGC Canadian title tournament. One of these 2 men will move on to Awesome Impact for the finals match to crown the new Canadian title champion. Bear Bukowski makes his way to the ring, followed by his opponent, Angry Gilmore. Both have Canadian heritage and both want to have the opportunity to hold this belt. The bell rings and both men size each other up. Dwayne Fry notes the obvious size difference between the 6'1" Gilmore and the 6'7", 300-pound Bukowski. Gilmore is older but faster, using stiff legs to try and get the advantage, but Bukowski catches a kick and shoves him to the corner. Bukowski goes for a splash, but Gilmore rolls out from the turnbuckles, allowing him to use a leg takedown and get Bukowski into an ankle lock. That just makes the big bully bear mad, and both men are on their feet with Bukowski tossing Gilmore with a belly-to-belly that makes Gilmore roll to the outside. Bukowski follows Gilmore and lifts him up, driving him into the ring post as Rick Young starts the count. Bukowski climbs into the ring and is trying to intimidate somebody in the crowd as Gilmore rolls back inside to barely beat the 10 count. Bukowski catches Gilmore trying to get to his feet and stops the tough veteran. Gilmore is at the ropes, so Bukowski has to break, and Gilmore gets a second win and starts to fight back. Gilmore hits the ropes, delivers a flying elbow, and that knocks Bukowski down, so Gilmore goes for it again. Bukowski is slow to recover, so Gilmore tries once more. Gilmore hits the ropes with Bukowski in the middle of the ring, but Bukowski lifts Gilmore in an attempt for a bear hug, but Gilmore goes over the shoulder. He hits the mat and hooks the leg for a roll-up. 1, 2, 3, Gilmore wins! That's Garry the Entertainer's music, and he walks to the ring, but he doesn't look like his usual chipper self. He has a microphone and explains to the crowd how sad he is to not have Leon the Chameleon by his side, and how angry he is at Justin Sensitive for taking his friend and manager. Garry tries to tell the crowd it's not funny, but he's having a hard time not cracking himself up as well. Finally, he gets to challenging Justin Sensitive to come out to the ring. Justin Sensitive makes his entrance with Leon the Chameleon in his hand. Justin Sensitive says Leon isn't a very good friend or manager since he won't actually talk to him. Garry and Sensitive go through a routine of Garry, or rather Leon, let's just face it, it's Garry doing Leon's voice, while Sensitive controls his mouth. Sensitive, Garry, and I guess Leon go back and forth and back. Sensitive says Leon isn't even a chameleon, and between Garry and the voice of Leon, we learn that chameleon isn't an indication of his species, it's more of a description of his talent. None of this really makes a whole lot of sense, but Garry tells Leon to look Sensitive in the eyes and make a choice about who he wants to manage. Sensitive turns his hand to make Leon face him, and Garry slaps Justin's elbow, making Leon headbutt Sensitive. Sensitive bumps hard onto the mat, and it looks like he's out cold. Is Leon's head loaded? Garry the Entertainer pulls Leon the Comedian off Sensitive's hand and leaves the ring area with his friend and manager at his side, or rather on his hand. We have our second semi-final match for the CGC Canadian title tournament. One of these two Supreme Stars is going to be in the finals to fight for that Canadian title. The last American in this tournament, Spencer Spade, makes his way to the ring with Dulce Moreno by his side, and his opponent, Stephen Parker, enters with Kristen Pierce leading the way. The bell rings and neither Spencer Spade nor Stephen Parker are quick to lock up. After a whole lot of posing and crowd work, they lock up and trade a series of holds and reversals that end in a stalemate. Both men go back to their corners and discuss strategy with their managers. Another lockup sees Spade take control with a headlock, but Parker fights out and sends Spade to the ropes, and Spade is dropped to the mat with a shoulder tackle. The pace stays slow as Parker tries an armbar, but Spade is able to climb to his feet, take hold of Parker, and deliver a snap suplex for a 2 count. Kristen Pierce is shouting instructions to Parker, which gets Spade shouting back at her, but that only allows Parker to deliver a belly-to-back suplex. Parker stays in control and uses strikes and slams to weaken Spade before using the turnbuckles to land a tornado DDT for a 2 count of his own. Spade fights off Parker and both men trade some high-powered offense before Spade tosses Parker over the top near Dulce Moreno. Kristen Pierce runs over and argues with Dulce Moreno as Phil Vibert laughs and Anna Garcia calls both women an embarrassment. Stephen Parker is between both managers trying to negotiate a truce, but Spencer Spade ends that spat by launching himself over the top rope and crashing into Parker. Pierce and Moreno scatter as Parker and Spade brawl around the outside. Rick Young tries to take control, but Parker and Spade take advantage of a lenient count to drive each other into the guardrails. Spade tries a pile driver on the stairs, but Parker reverses into a back body drop to the floor. Parker gets back inside, but Moreno is up on the apron to argue with him, causing the referee and Kristen Pierce to be distracted, while Spencer Spade rolls in and delivers a low blow on Parker from behind. Fellow members of the Supreme Dream Team, Mainstream Hernandez and Dominic D'Souza, run in to prevent the referee from making a count, but Rat Pack members Monty Trescardi and Paul Huntington run down to ringside to argue. Parker looks like he's in bad shape, but Spade can't capitalize because he's distracted by Joey Morgan and Deaver Arnold running down and starting a brawl with Swagger Inc. and Fame and Money. Parker is back on his feet and brawling with Spade as chaos ensues on the floor. As the 3 tag teams brawl and the managers scream at each other, Stephen Parker catches a lariat attempt and delivers a future shock to Spencer Spade. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Stephen Parker wins and moves on to the finals of the Canadian title tournament. He'll be facing Angry Gilmore at Awesome Impact for the belt. Hey y'all, remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments and set your notifications so that you know every time it's on. Oh, and now Brandon James storms to the ring and calls out Demelza Wade and her boys. When they don't present themselves right away, James explains that he hasn't seen Chrissy Angel since last week's Supreme TV and he wants them to bring her out. Demelza Wade comes out with Forrest Ratzlaff, James Prudence, and Sammy Smoke, and Chrissy Angel. Wade has a microphone and explains that Chrissy Angel is considering joining her side. When Angel seems to disagree with that statement, Forrest Ratzlaff holds her back, and Brandon James says he'll take on anyone Demelza Wade throws at him. Wade sends Smoke and Prudence to the ring, but Brandon James cuts them off and takes them out quickly. Brandon James is looking at Wade and Ratzloff intimidatingly, but Wade stays on the mic and issues a challenge. Fight and beat all of her team, and she'll leave James and Angel alone. Lose, and Brandon James has to join up. Ratzloff pushes Chrissy Angel towards James, but before she walks to her client, she grabs Wade's microphone and says James can easily beat the 3 guys that she can hire. Angel returns to James, but Wade has one final thing to say. She didn't just hire 3 Supreme Stars, she hired 4. Sterling Whitlock comes to the entrance stage and stands with Demelza Wade and the rest of her team. Alright, it looks like we have Damian Carville with Joey Morgan and Deaver Arnold. Morgan and Arnold challenge the teams Fame and Money and Swagger Inc. Damian Carville says Morgan and Arnold sounds like a law firm, and Morgan says just call them the partners. We cut to Joanne Rodriguez, who is standing by with Monte Trescardi and Paul Huntington. Huntington says that they're calling out Swagger Inc. and Morgan and Arnold. They'll take on both teams at Awesome Impact. And now we see Mainstream Hernandez and Dominic D'Souza, who have gotten a hold of a cameraman. Swagger Inc. is looking for a fight, and they want to finish things off with Fame and Money and Morgan and Arnold. Looks like we're going to have a match at Awesome Impact this Saturday. And it's time for our main event. We have all of our entrances, with Scythe coming to the ring first with his dramatic entrance. He has Rogue coming to the ring, and these two are teaming up tonight, but they definitely don't see eye to eye. Hollywood Bret Starr makes his entrance, and while he does step into the ring, he keeps his distance from Scythe. Finally, Adam Smasher makes his way down to the ring. He's going to be facing Scythe as part of that Triple Trouble match with Rocky Golden. So he stays on the outside with Rogue. And then we see ZWB make his entrance. He is the 4th member of the team making their way to the ring. He stays on the entrance stage for Des Davids to make his entrance. Valiant comes out right behind him. And finally, Rocky Golden makes his entrance with the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. As Rocky Golden steps onto the entrance stage, we still have Scythe in the ring with Smasher, Starr, and Rogue on the outside. Golden, Davis, Valiant, and ZWB charge, and all 8 men are brawling right away. As the brawl starts, Dwayne Fry explains that no tags are necessary, but the match needs to be won in the ring. Valiant is in the ring battling Scythe. Smasher is in to help push Valiant into the corner for a superplex, but Rocky Golden and Des Davids lift Smasher and Scythe, slamming all 6 men into the mat. ZWB chases Hollywood Bret Starr, preventing him from running away and delivering a spiked DDT on the entrance ramp, but Rogue follows that with a crashing on. Rogue returns to the ring to even up the ongoing brawl, with Rocky Golden and Des Davids being tossed out, allowing for a double powerbomb and a knee drop combo on Valiant. Scythe and Adam Smasher set up Valiant in the corner, but before Rogue can charge for a crashing on, Rocky Golden comes up from behind with a sleeper hold. Scythe grips Golden's throat for a choke slam. Davids returns to put Scythe in a full Nelson, but Adam Smasher grabs him for a German suplex. Valiant charges from the corner, crashes into the group, and they all spill to the outside. Phil Vibert calls this match chaos, and Anna Garcia says that's just obvious. Golden, Valiant, and Davids are lifted and dropped onto the guardrail, but all 3 jump to their feet and drive elbows into Smasher, Scythe, and Rogue. ZWB rolls Bret Starr into the ring as Smasher, Scythe, and Rogue take control on the outside, so ZWB dives and crashes into everybody. Davids and Bret Starr square off in the ring, but Starr has his belt, he never took it off, and drives it into David's head. A cover, but Rocky Golden saves it. ZWB battles Smasher as Valiant battles Rogue, while Scythe sets up the ring announcer's table, and Golden battles Hollywood Starr in the ring. Golden hits Starr with the Rocky Road, but Rogue hits a low blow before a cover is made, while ZWB gets put through a table by Smasher and Scythe. As Starr and Golden roll out of the ring, Valiant slides in and hits a combo on Rogue that leads to a V split and a pinfall victory before Smasher and Scythe can get in to break the count. Valiant gets a pinfall over Rogue, but we're all out of time. We'll see you on Saturday for Awesome Impact. Let's see what's happening in the world of Total Extreme Wrestling. Last night, Total Championship Wrestling held Total Wrestling at the Ranch of San Antonio and drew 9,141 fans. The show was pretty good and Aaron Andrews was the clear star performer of the show. Total Wrestling achieved a 3.60 TV rating between Ace and Maple Leaf Sports and had over 2.7 million viewers. We also learned that backstage in the TCW locker room, Chris Flynn and Flint Slater have been hanging out recently and they seem to be pretty good friends. SWF held Supreme TV last night in Isaac Road Arena and drew 10,800 fans. Feedback on the show has been positive, and Supreme TV got the most viewers of the night on their streaming service, SWF Extreme TV. Last night, United States Pro Wrestling held American Wrestling at the Minnesota Coliseum and drew 8,183 fans. It was a pretty good show, and the MVP was Steve Fraley, who is part of a big tag team main event. American Wrestling was shown on Reverie and drew more than 11.5 million viewers. Some news from backstage at USPW, Jack Jackson and Glorious Gloria had a big fight, and according to some sources, there is a serious problem between the two. In happier news, Sarah Marie and Tom Townsend seem to have been getting along recently. They're spending a huge amount of time together, even hanging out during their free time before shows. The Canadian Wrestling Alliance held CWA Championship Wrestling last night at Ottawa Rams Stadium and drew 10,000 fans, a sellout. Aaron Knight was the star of the show, of course. He was part of a big tag team main event that, while one of the best matches of the year, might not have even been the best match of the show. Championship Wrestling earned a 1.52 TV rating and was shown on CBN. RIPW held Uprising last night in Rhode Island and drew 68 fans. The show was received well, and the best performance of the night belonged to Rocky Weatherfield. Uprising was held on WrestleWorld and more than 11,000 fans watched it. And backstage there seems to be a new friendship blossoming with Mellow Flashheart and G-Force spending a lot of time together. Last night, TCW hired Michael Bull, a veteran referee with 42 years of experience. Last night, USPW held all-night action in Columbus, Ohio and drew 1,996 fans. Trent Schaefer put on the star performance of the show. All-night action was shown on Reverie and was seen by more than 1 million fans. During the show, a new tag team was formed. Tiffany Jade and Jillian Jarvis teamed up and became the world's most wanted. There was some fighting backstage as well, with Jumbo Jackson and Zeus getting into a big fight, and now it seems they're barely on speaking terms. Last night, RIPW held the annual March to Victory and drew 203 fans. Feedback has been positive, with Brian Jewett putting on the star performance of the show. March to Victory also had more than 11,600 viewers on WrestleWorld. March to Victory features an 8-man bracketed tournament. This year, Froshore claimed victory. This will surely give him a big momentum boost. And in backstage news, Nukeway Brown and Stuntman had a big fight, and now the situation is rather tenuous. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and check us out next time it's on.